sessions for those people that miss a session so that they can look at the video later. So we are here on record so that everybody knows. So what we are looking here is pretty much sort of the interim result when we work with reservations. Perhaps you guys, mute your microphone while we do this presentation when you're not talking, and unmute, of course, when you want to say something. So, but anyway, this is the end result that we are actually looking at. When we print the pick ticket, it will actually show reservations right below a line item. So this is actually the existing pick ticket, which we have adjusted in the system, in the test system in Nampa. And here on that order, we had 56 cases total of with that weight, 2,800 pounds.
Patrick, hang on. You got to put your phone on. Where does the mute at? Oh, okay. Where's the mute?
Just hit the mic button. Just hit the mic button, and that'll mute it.
Hold the mic button.
There you go.
There you go. Good.
So we had here 56 cases total on that order, and I have actually allocated here just a couple of items that are in inventory to that line. So if we work with reservations, we will actually print on the pick ticket the individual lot numbers that an individual picker needs to pull when they fill the
I'm on mute. They told me the vocalization.
Hello?
Back out again.
So how does that work? When we are in sales order entry, I just go in here and pick a sales order from, let's say, Cargill Meat Solutions. There's an open sales order here, right? So here we have 85 trim, 20 combos on that sales order. It's perhaps a stupid example, but regardless. When we actually take that line item down and we are on the OK button here, we have a released function key that is here Shift F9. See that? So when you hit that button, it briefly pops up the action, but you just hit OK, and you are in that reservation screen, and it will show that we have 20 combos we want to reserve. I can now go ahead and actually hit list and see what is in inventory right now of that 85 trim. And I can see, for example, well, this is all like in deletions, in rework. I just reserve here out of rework just for the sake of it. I can now pick these 5 combos, this particular lot number, and it shows here 5 and the actual weight of these 5 combos that are currently in inventory. And by entering just 5 and then the weight, it actually allocates that to the sales order. And I can continue doing that for each of the item. It will always show, and it will actually take out. You see, this one is now showing 5 reserved, 5 are in stock, available inventory is 0. See that? So this is pretty much how we enter then the reservations. And as you can see here, the upper number is actually a running total. That actually shows how the number is reducing as we add these different line items to the order. Make sense? So what that allows us to do is, let me perhaps pick another item. What that does for us, you see if we have one in inventory that is more common. Let me see what that one does here. There's nothing in inventory of that item. So, yeah.
Patrick?
Yes.
Why don't we tell you what order to go into so you can find one that actually has boxes on it?
Okay, sounds good. Or you can just enter one.
Go back out of that screen.
It is the system that I'm working on here right now is from March, right? March 1st or so. We did the copy on March 1st.
Try take this one. Oh, that's March 13th. Got one that's shipping like this week.
Must be something from the end of February. Yeah. So
All
that
right, here you go. Try 48856.
48856.
Give a Nampa. Never mind.
See the Nampa session.
Hang on. Sorry, Ron. Or go back into the list of orders. I'll find you one.
There's Quantum Foods.
Uh,
Oh, you have a
that's it.
customer that we can use? Want to look up a customer?
Southwind's already did one.
That Southwind would have a lot of orders, items on it probably.
Southwind?
Try that one. Try that one.
Flat meat. It's all in there. 100 boxes. Okay. See if that works. So inventory reservation, right? And here I would see now the aging codes that are in inventory right now. There's not much. So it's all in rework. So there was nothing in inventory for that flat meat item either. So Southwind Foods. Let me... How about CIT Foods?
Those are combos also.
Oh, there are 30 boxes, lifter meat. Well, if there is no inventory in there, there is some. So let's use that inventory. So here I have 8 boxes in inventory right now, and I can actually just pick them, see, and say reserve these 4 boxes against that. Take the other one, reserve those boxes against that, 1 box against that, and take the last one here, those 3 boxes against the order. Now these are now physically allocated to that particular sales order, okay? So for that lifter meat for CIT Foods. So when we now would look at our inventory for this particular item, 16050, and the order number is 231637, and the loading date is 3/3. Okay. So we have now allocated certain boxes for this particular customer. So, and as we go and look up inventory, item 16050, and I would say show me the balance. So it shows nothing available. It shows 8 in stock, 8 reserved, 0 available stock. So pretty much from the availability standpoint, that inventory is hard allocated to an order, and it is allocated down to the individual lot dates that are in the system. So from here on out, when we do this allocation, I can actually create a report that shows based on available stock. So anything that has been allocated to orders already would disappear from that, and you would get a report that shows you really truly available to sell. Any distressed product would be taken out. And that would be pretty much the same process that Tom Nenninger goes through every morning, what he's saying, like 2 hours, where he goes through and says which particular aging codes are allocated to which orders. Am I right, Tom? He has muted his phone. So,
Go ahead.
but that is pretty much the same, right?
Okay.
So what happens next is you print your pick ticket. So, and that was actually loading on 03/03/10. And it was the order number 231637. Was that particular order number, okay? So this is also what you typically do. So the guys in picking, they print a pick ticket. And on that pick ticket, it will then give them now exactly the same instructions that we have seen and that we have entered with the order. So they can actually see when we are going in that screen, here's a pick ticket I just printed. and it shows now on that screen exactly here are the 7 cases, and here are the individual agent codes that we actually request being shipped. Yeah. So when they go on the gun, that same information can be tested on the guns. And Melanie and myself, we did some testing in the NAMPA system, what would now happen is that nobody else could get these particular cases that are allocated to this order. So no other customers. So when the scan gun would scan a box that is allocated to another customer, it would say, well, no, you cannot ship that product. It has been allocated to to another order. If they work on this particular line item, it would actually require them to use those particular H codes that are allocated to the order. So they cannot ship anything else but that H codes. I mean, right now it's a soft test, so they just get a soft warning saying, this is not reserved. Do you want to continue? So they can override it in case there are discrepancies. But we can actually lock that down. So we could actually say they cannot ship anything but what is really reserved, if there are any reservations.
Which is what we want to do for old age, Patrick, because we want to make sure that we're shipping the absolute oldest. If we sell something at a discount, we want to make sure that only the boxes that are old are put on that order for the discount. So we probably wouldn't use this reservation function for any of the regular fresh product that we're sending out.
Yeah.
But for old age and controlling that issue, this is the way we do that. This would be perfect.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, what we can do is we can slowly phase that in, Dan. And I thought, because I don't know how big the discrepancies are and that the people are confused when we actually would roll that out. I mean, number one is, I think, like Melanie, myself, or even both, we should be at a plant where we roll that out. In the week, we roll it out. Number two is we still need a little modification on the gun to make it usable for the shippers. I mean, if they have, for example, reservations for 10 different lot codes, and they start shipping and they get refusals and they have now 29 boxes done, and they are looking for that final box, it is very hard for them to figure out, which H code did I miss, because that is a pretty hard test, right? So we got to get them the information on the gun as well, that they can see, 30 boxes reserved, 29 shipped, and which of the H code is the one box that is missing, so that they can, easily find that. Yeah. So I actually just sent that request out so that they fix that up on the guns. But everything else is actually already in place, except also the hard test. I mean, if we want to basically say, right now the warning message is in the system already. So if they would scan something they are not supposed to, they get a warning, and they can override it. But if you want to make it from the get-go hard, we can actually change that and say, just ship as you're told, regardless of if you find it or not. I don't know if that perhaps creates other issues. I don't know how reliable the inventory is, My concern would be that...
I think what Dan was saying, though, is how do you do it for some orders and not others?
That is fine. I mean, if there is no reservation, I mean, this allocation that I did in sales order entry is entirely optional, right? So you don't have to do an allocation. Right, so it is not mandatory. So you can pick an order and say only if you really go in there and pick this item here and say you go on the OK button, hit that inventory, and do that reservation, right? And you go into that screen and enter something here. Only then you have a reservation, and only then it will test the guns. If there is no reservation entered, it just goes by, whatever the standard procedure is. Nothing will change to, the way it works today.
Okay.
So if there is a reservation, it will show up on the gun.
It will show up on the gun. Right now, it actually just shows that line that there is a reservation behind it. It doesn't show that detail, right? I mean, that is what I just said to the guys at CSB. So Because when we don't see the detail, I mean, this information here, right? When we
Hey, Patrick.
yeah.
So if those boxes are assigned to an order, could they pick them for another order?
Nope.
We could lock it down so the only order that they could pull those boxes onto would be the order we tell it to.
Yes, that is already working. That is what we already tested with Melanie together. Yes.
Good.
It cannot be taken for any other order. It must be taken for this order. We even tested like the case,
So the next
for example, where you have an age code in the system, 15 days. You have 20 boxes on inventory of that age code, 10 of which are reserved to an order. It lets you scan the other 10 orders, or the basically random first 10 cases to any other order when you fill an order, but not the the last 10 that are reserved to another order. Yeah.
So then how do you unreserve them if that order shouldn't go or change or whatever, so they're available for something else?
There is actually in inventory, you could actually, I mean, first of all, you could go in here and change that and delete that reservation, right? So you can go back into the order and here just hit the delete button and take it out. That would take it out. There's also in the inventory function, in inventory, when we look at the reservations at that, let's say here, inventory information, balance. Yeah, you can actually go in here and see actually the reservation somewhere here, right? So you see the reservation, there's one reserved. You can hit on that reservation button and, well, actually you can just see it. There is like another way. I mean, you can do it in sales order entry, but there's another screen where you can go in and delete that reservation as well. And
Well, I guess, yeah, my concern is that just the salesman, and I guess that's where you'd want to have it controlled, Dan, is the salesman would have to be responsible for releasing it if the order didn't go or whatever. I mean, because I don't know we don't want anybody else releasing reservations for sales other than sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is pretty much a process that we can put in place, and like I suggested, I mean, first we got to wait for a couple minor changes with CSB, but we should have them within a couple of weeks. Right now, there is no harm. We can release that function that you can just enter them without any guidance. I don't know if that has any point, but it prints on the pick ticket. But it does not do anything to the guns and stuff like that. But we should just pick like a place. What?
If we did it today,
Excuse me?
we'll print on the pick ticket right now if we do this today.
Yes. I mean, no. I just did it here in test system. I would need to actually do the same adjustments in the test system and release that function. But that is a matter of a couple of hours, so I can actually do that tomorrow morning if you want to play around with it.
What I'd like to do is test a couple, like Dan said, dated boxes only, the stuff that we want that are 14 days and older we need to get out. Mm-hmm. I would like to test it sometime in the near future on a couple dated orders.
Okay, just enter the information and print it on the pick ticket, you mean?
Right.
Without influencing the guns, yeah. I can. There's no harm for me to set it up for Oma and Nampa and adjust the pick ticket so that it actually prints the information, and then you can start fooling around with it. We don't change.
Is Tom or Corey on from shipping?
What?
Who's on? Dwayne?
Yeah, I'm on.
Is anybody on from shipping?
I don't think so.
No.
The only thing I see a problem is right now we've been gearing ourselves in Nampa to key only the 5-digit code in because they open sub all the 6-digit codes because there's space out there. Mm-hmm. We'll have to key in for dated items the exact code then. Is that correct, Dwayne?
That's correct.
Yeah, now as long as they're okay with that, it should be all right.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
All right. Patrick, what do I need to do then?
Yeah, I mean,
I learn exactly how to do this. I'll need to have you walk me through it on the phone one time.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest I do the setup for you in Omaha, and we can perhaps do it here like via GoToMeeting. What we then do is when you say next week, let me finish the setup this week, and also work on that other report for you guys.
Okay.
And then we'll get it done by Friday. And next week, when you have such an aged order that you want to take, we do it together. We set up a GoToMeeting like this. And where I then transfer over control and we watch your screen and you do it, Justin. I tell you what to do.
Great, that'd be great. Yeah, once I learn how, and then we'll do a couple test orders.
Hey, Patrick, the only locations you're going to pull from are the 11801 and 800, right?
Well, you can actually pull from any location. When you do the reservation, it shows any location. I mean, if I would go now in here in 78, and we had a couple of cases where it showed that rework inventory, you know.
That's my question. That rework inventory, sometimes that's not an existing inventory. It's just rework.
Yeah, I mean, that is a procedural stuff, I guess, that you guys need to figure out on how we get rid of it. Right? I mean, if that is not really existing inventory, there are different ways in how we can deal with it. But let's see here then. You know that, yeah, here you have 800, yeah. And here that rework, yeah, that is stone old. Yeah, that is probably not there. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, we should probably just delete that inventory, if you ask me. Mel,
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing up. I think there's quite a bit of that stuff that I don't know. I don't know if it's. I mean, we know it's not there, but
Yeah, I mean,
that would be the only concern.
From my perspective, that is fine. Or we can actually flag it as production departments or something, or block that inventory. I don't know why you keep that that data in the system anyway.
I don't either. And that was when I first started. That stuff was always popping up, but I don't know if that's something that shipping did or if it's the way we're adjusting it. Might not.
Dwayne, do we ever actually use rework as inventory?
No.
Okay.
I think
like I said, maybe we could do a footprint on some of this stuff and see where it's coming from or what's going on with it. That might solve the problem.
The only question that I would have is whether that information perhaps is used for like some sort of yield reporting, where
I'll get with Michelle here and maybe we'll follow up with Melanie and see if she can help us track down and see if anybody knows why we still have it on the system, whether it's used or not.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was my only concern. So other than that, that should be only out of the 11800 or 801 upper lower locations.
All right, you guys, any other questions?
Sounds good to me.
All right, and once we get that working, then we can, go back and start, creating different aging reports that show then, inventory less reservations on your aging reports.
Well, that would be fabulous.
Yep. All right.
Patrick, thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Hey, Patrick, just real quick, I'm sure you noticed that on that one pick ticket you showed, you had some question marks in some of those fields.
Yeah, that was just because the average weight of the box was probably 3 digits, and the layout was only two decimals.
Okay, just
that is
something
just
to keep an eye on when
yeah, that is just cosmetic. So that is something that we can fix.
All
Hey,
right.
Patrick, just a quick question. Does that relieve that from inventory when you reserve it?
Well, yeah, I mean from available inventory. So what happens in inventory is you have
Would it still show as your total inventory, or does it just disappear?
both.
Okay.
See,
What was the answer? I didn't hear it.
let me show you. Here's what it looks like. Yeah, it shows entry, exit. It shows reservations and available balance.
I guess my question is on some of the reports that I run, would it still show on my reports?
It's a question how we set up the report, Dwayne.
Okay.
We can set it up either way. We can set it up that it just shows including reservation or excluding reservations, or put the reservations in a separate column.
Okay.
That would mess you up a little bit, wouldn't it, Dwayne?
Yeah, I mean, it would and wouldn't. I mean, we'd need to talk about that.
Yeah,
I guess I guess it's okay either way, but if the sales are going to show up, I probably want to see the boxes.
Yeah, you want to see the boxes. All I want to see is what's unsold.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But if, for example, if you go into your in your coverage planning in your on-screen, right, it shows actually the 8.
Right.
It shows actually what is in inventory in the on-screen and shows the sales against that. Okay, so that is working fine.
Okay.
All right.
Good deal.
All right, then I'll set it up for you latest by Friday. Send you an email when I'm done, and then we can say when you have like a code, then we can go through that together.
Just let me know, and I'll be right on it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Again, gentlemen.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Patrick.